Once a teacher was there. He used to take this snuff all the time. That is some kind of intoxicant. And then what happened? This person was very fed up. He wanted to give it up, but he was not able to give it up. So he went to his guru and said, I have tried everything, it's not going, what shall I do? Then guru asked, what is your profession? He said, I am a teacher. Do you use a chalk for writing on the board? Yes, of course I use. He said, okay, take one chalk. Okay? And every day you write with the same chalk. Whatever the size of the chalk is left by the end of the day, only that much of your this snuff you should take for the day, that much quantity only. Like that, as the chalk keeps decreasing in size, you keep decreasing the quantity of snuff. And when the chalk fully, in a week or so, is fully utilized, nothing is left, stop utilizing this snuff also. And he tried that. Okay, in the beginning he could not control, he was taking whatever the quantity. As the chalk started, you see, slowly and slowly and slowly reducing in size, he also started reducing the quantity of this snuff that he was taking. Till one fine day, he overcome that feeling and never had to go back again. So all your habits, I love too much of sweet, decide. I will eat sweet only once in a month. Those who have weakness for sweet, especially above 45, 50 people. Young people can still take it. Till 30, 35, your body will take anything. After that, you have to start reducing. That's why I say your food habits also should change with your body. So it should naturally reduce. Body has its own methodology to reduce everything. So gradually you have to stop. That's why I say, as your youngsters, eat 4 times a day, very good. Once you reach 40, then reduce the food to only 3 times a day. When you are 60, you reduce the food to only 2 times a day. If you are 80, you reduce the food to just one meal a day. You don't need more than that. If you eat, you will be torturing your body actually. And then go to doctor, I am suffering, I have this stomach problem. Because you have overeaten for your age. But I used to eat 4 times a day. That was when you were 30. Now you are 80. One little meal a day should suffice. That too, less cooked, less processed, more natural. That is what will fit. And your mind's motivations are now devotion and spirituality. Uncooked raw food, as it is natural, it is the best food to develop spiritual feelings. Otherwise, food brings, I tell always, Paka Shuddhi, Padartha Shuddhi, Patra Shuddhi. All these should be there. Once a saint went or sannyasi went to somebody's house for lunch. And while eating lunch, he felt like stealing the silverware, the tumbler and the spoon. So after eating the food, slowly put all the vessels in his bag and packed and ran from there. And halfway through, as he walked a little distance, he realized, I am a sannyasi, I have given up everything. What made me steal these tumblers and spoons from that house? And with great remorse and guilt, he went back to the house and he told the Yajman, I have done this mistake. I am so sorry, I have stolen all these things from your house. But this is the first time I have behaved like this and I don't understand why should I behave. I have given up everything. I have no attachment to silver or gold. Then why did I do this? So he asks, can you tell me who cooked the food today? And the householder says, my wife has cooked. So he calls his wife and asks, did you not cook the food today? You only cooked? She said, no, I did not cook. I had sought the help of a neighbor to come and cook because I was going through my own problems as a woman. So therefore I could not enter the kitchen and cook the food. I called the neighbor to cook. Then they realized this neighbor had the habit of stealing things. Kleptomaniac they call it. They just can't resist. They'll just catch it, put it. People steal from others' houses, from hotels, like this only. Why? Because this is a habit in them. There is kind of a temptation they can't control. So that lady had this habit. Because she was cooking and while cooking she was looking at all the silverware and things like that and thinking, what should I steal, what should I steal? And that thought of that lady got into the food. And so when this sannyasi ate the food, that thought came into the food and through food it came into his head. And because of that he stole things. So that kind of purity, the more processed the food is, so many heads have been involved in it. Less processed the food is, less heads have been involved in it. So less thoughts have accumulated into the food. So your mind will not get influenced so much. Therefore people as they grow old are told, please drink only milk which is not processed into payasam and other activities, and also eat simple fruits. Don't eat too much of cooked food. So this is the natural way of indriyas to be under control, mind to be under control. But what we are doing today, we are taking all kinds of medicines to keep our body going. Feed it, feed it, feed it. If we can't see, then we put all kinds of spectacles, go through surgeries to keep seeing things. If we can't hear, we all kinds of things to go on hearing things. At some point in time, the body is telling you, time to withdraw, time to withdraw. You don't need to hear unnecessarily. You can contemplate within. You don't need to see all kinds of things. Be within yourself. You don't need to talk too much. You don't need to eat too much. You don't need to run around too much. That's why your limbs are becoming weaker, so that you sit in one place and meditate on God. Body is giving you indications. Look, your lifestyle must change now. But we are not there to listen to the body. We are going to tell, no, we will use the modern medical science, go through all kinds of treatments, beauty treatments, to look young even when we are old, and to eat whatever we want, even though stomach cannot take it, then take medicine and eat it. So your body and mind are not able to have it. Yet our temptations, so indriyas are like this, they're so strong. Krishna says in 2nd chapter, indriyas are so strong like the wind that blows away the boat in the middle of the sea, and you cannot control the boat. Like that, these indriyas are so strong they can, harati means they steal away the strength of the mind. And you cannot control them. Once you give control to them, you are done. You have given up against them, you are done. They will take you for a ride now. These horses will carry you wherever they want. They will not leave you in peace. That strong are these indriyas. But same indriyas, when they are trained and tamed, they can reach you to God also. So it is not the fault of the indriyas. They are resources given to you. How to tame and train them is a spiritual activity. How to allow them. And how strong they are, in Bhagavata, a katha comes. See, as in 2nd chapter of this Krishna, he says very nicely, he says, Dhyayato vishayan punsaha, sangasteshu pajayate, sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodho bijayate, krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibramaha, smriti bhramshad buddhi nasho, buddhi nashad pranashyati. 8 steps to destruction. Krishna so correctly describes. Dhyayato vishayan punsa. If you keep thinking of vishayas, the indriyas, sukhas, the objects that please the indriyas, I want to eat this, I want to see that, I want to go there, hear that. If you keep thinking, just by thinking what happens, you may think nothing happened, I just thought and it's okay. No, dhyayato vishayan punsaha, sangha upajayate. Sangha means attachment develops. First time you saw, you forgot. Next time, it's only your thought that is gone inside your head now. I want it, I want it, I want it. You saw some video on Facebook, you saw one app something, you saw one article or somebody or something. That thought has gone inside because you have paid attention. And now this attention will lead to attachment. And what happens? Sangasteshu pajayate, sangat sanjayate kama. From this attachment is born the desire to have it. And kamat krodho vijayate. When desires are not fulfilled, you get angry. Frustration comes. And krodhat bhavati sammoha. When anger comes, delusion starts. Because angry person cannot think what he is saying or doing. Like drunk person cannot think. So it leads to delusion. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. And sammohat smriti vibrama. When delusions begin in you, you think right as wrong and wrong as right. Then what happens? All your memory of the past, good, bad, disappears. Now the same warden looks like a devil because he stopped you from doing something which you wanted to do, which was not right. So your mind will start thinking all the memory of the past, all the good and nice things that have happened to you, you'll forget. And you'll develop tremendous jealousy, anger, hatred, vengefulness. All this will come in your head because of this Smriti Bhamshat. And Smriti Bhamshat, what happens when memory is not there, buddhi cannot do anything because buddhi depends on the memory of all the past. Like a king depends on the minister. Like that buddhi to make a decision calls up the cabinet and says, so tell me, then they will say, last time when you did this, this was the problem. Then the buddhi will say, based on the last time's experience, let us not repeat it. But when buddhi does not have any data points to analyze, all the smriti, all your memories of the mind have disappeared in the delusion. Buddhi has no basis to decide anything. It does not have any data, any information based on which it will take a decision now. So then buddhi is not able to do anything. Buddhi nasha happens. Such a buddhi is incapable of doing anything. And buddhi nashat pranashyati. Why? Control of the horses is gone, the rein is out of your hand, the horses are on their own. And you come to your ruin. So it all starts with just thinking. Once you think enough, that thought will now grow inside you and continuously. That is why you master the mind. Remove your thoughts, become thoughtless. Analyze your thought, because thought is the beginning of all the problems. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a tendency. Sow a tendency, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap your destiny, it is said. It all starts with thought. Because you thought about indriya sukhas, that's it. You said, no, I just flipped through the Facebook, I just flipped through the video forward, I flipped through the, flipped nahi. On that flipping, that microsecond, it has gone inside your head. Through your eyes, through your ears, nose, tongue, touch, anything. And now you have got, become slave of it. And it will not give you up so easily. In Bhagavatam, a story comes of one Muni by name Shaubhari. The Shaubhari Muni was so powerful, he had all siddhis under his control, and he was like a very, very knowledgeable person who has even written a Samhita called Shaubhari Samhita. One day, and he used to meditate where? Not on the mountain, not under the tree. He will go underwater and meditate. Underwater meditation he will do. So he went under the water some point in time and was meditating. Just when he was about to meditate, he saw two fish, a male and a female fish playing. And he just saw them for a while. That's all. It didn't even register. Then he closed his eyes and again the fish came, the two fishes which were. And then he started thinking, I am all alone. I also should have a companion. The desire arose. Right? We saw something, thought about it, attention he paid, attachment came. Now desire led to, I want to have now a wife. You have already done so much of sadhana, gone far up somewhere, and now again you want the same worldly pleasures. So he said, no, I want to have a wife and I want to marry now. So he goes to the king, Mandhata, the king of that place, and tells him that I want to marry one of your 50 daughters. Any daughter is okay for me, but I want a daughter to marry. Now king is worried because if he refuses this Shaubhari Muni, then he will get cursed. These Munis were known for that. So he said, how do I avoid this? And I don't want my daughter to go to this old man. My daughters are so beautiful and young. They should marry rich princess. Why should they marry this old fickle man? And therefore, king makes a plan. He says, okay, you will do like this, Swamiji. You come tomorrow. I'll keep all the 50 princesses ready. And whoever likes to marry you, I will allow that marriage to happen. Let them choose, because Swayamvara used to happen earlier. The girl has to choose the boy, or in this case, the girl has to choose the old man. So he understands what this king is up to. So this Shaubhari Muni, what he does, by his yoga siddhi, he becomes a very handsome young man next day. So beautiful that better than Cupid. And he comes, and all the 50 princesses fall for him. They say, he's so handsome, we all want to marry him. The king thinks, what have I done? So this Shaubhari marries all the 50 princesses. All of them. Now 50 ladies and one husband, you can imagine the plight. Everybody, you have to stay with me, you can't go to her place. So all the 50 daughters who were so good to each other so far, they start fighting now. Because the desire, all time he should spend with me, that possessiveness. So Shaubhari doesn't know what to do, he gets a headache. So he divides himself, by his yoga siddhi, he makes himself into 50 Shaubharis. And one Shaubhari starts living with one princesses. For their sake, he creates 50 palaces out of his yoga siddhi. And in each palace, there is a Shaubhari and the princess. And like that, in 50 palaces, there are 50 Shaubharis and 50 princes. And he lives with them for 1,000 years. And in the process, he produces an entire city. So many children, grandchildren. One day, his father-in-law comes. And he says, your wealth and opulence and your family and this beauty and glory is much more than me also. The father-in-law is stunned at the richness of this Shaubhari Muni. All this is yoga siddhi, the yoga he creates. When he says like that, after that this occurs to Shaubhari Muni, was I wanting to create a city full of riches, better than my father-in-law? Was that my original plan? Then he starts doing Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. Where did it all begin? I was supposed to be a sannyasi yogi. Where have I landed? thousands of children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and palaces, and the whole city. So much so that my own father-in-law is surprised at my richness and opulence. Was this the reason I started in the first place? And he starts doing Ekatma Sara. Okay, where did this grandson came from? He came from that son. Where did this son come from? From that wife. Where did his wife come? Because I divided myself into 50. Why did I divide myself into 50? Because I wanted to marry one woman and I had to marry all the 50. Why did I want to marry one woman? Because one day I was meditating under the water and I saw a male and a female fish. There it had all begun. And then he immediately decides to give up everything. He teaches Brahma Vidya to all the 50 wives and leaves to the forest, leaving the city and other things behind. And all the 50 wives follow him to the forest. There they live, and towards the end he attains moksha because he has realized this truth, and now he spends all his time in Brahma Jnana and makes his wives also Brahma Jnanis at the end by his teachings. But look at a Muni who just saw fish, not even a human being. He just saw two fishes and there he landed up. So you can imagine how strong, this is just to prove the point that indriyas are so strong. Just by looking at something you are done. That's why 5 indriyas for one animal itself is reason for destruction. A human being can be destroyed by any of the 5 or all of the 5. How careful we have to be with our indriyas is so important. This is the only way to train your mind. Train your mind to choose right over wrong. Train your mind to choose shreyo over preyo. Train your mind to choose God over the world. Train your mind to choose the eternal happiness over temporary pleasures. This is the only way. This is not a torture. This is not a punishment. This is for your highest good. And the earlier you realize it and do it with your own joy, you will enjoy everything over here. You will see the divine plan behind everything. But learn Atma Vidya, learn Atma Vidya, learn Atma Vidya is all the effort is all about. For whose sake? If you don't learn Atma Vidya, what am I going to lose? I am not lose nothing. But in Shivapura Sutram it says, the one who has become a Jnani must do Jnana Dana to others. That is his duty. Who has Jnana must do Jnana Dana. That is what it is. If something happens to your right toe, whole body suffers. One tooth pain, whole body suffers, whole being suffers. Like that we are connected. Head, hands cannot say, so what, I did not get hurt, I am happy. No, you cannot be happy. When toe is hurting, the whole body hurts. Likewise, when the creation is not in order, the creator suffers. And to set that suffering right is all this effort. Otherwise, who cares? Once Narada decided to check, what is this delusion of the world which is so strong that all people go there and forget everything and fall into that slush. So he asked Narayana, I want to go and check out for myself that what kind of Maya have you created in this world? Let me go and find out. So Narayana said, yes, I will teach you a lesson. Here, he converted him into a pig. And he straightway went to and settled down there. And there, in a nice slush by the roadside, he was happily living. And then he found a very beautiful female pig. So one day a request came on the Facebook. I saw you in the other slush the other day. You looked so good. That big round nose. Immediately, oh, you saw me? Like, friends. Then, what are you doing tomorrow on the weekend? What are you doing? No, I generally do nothing basically, but if you want me to do something, I am going to visit that slush. I believe the fresh release of sewage has happened in that. So I was thinking, let's have a thank God it's Friday there. And he said, of course, yes, if you want me to join you, I'm more than happy to join you. So this pig went behind that female pig. And both of them enjoyed the freshly released sewage. After enjoying it thoroughly, rolling, eating, enjoying and making merry, having a ball there, they fell in love. And she said, will you marry me? Of course, yes, I will marry you. That's why Narada, the pig, is saying, of course, I will marry you. And they married and said, now that we are going to have more children, we need more supply of sewage. Let us go and settle down near the municipal sewage, the bigger plant there. Okay, let's go. So he and she both of went and found a new place to settle down, and soon they had plenty of piglets because they don't produce one, two, like dozens. So after the dozens of piglets, this pig is so happy. I have a beautiful wife. I have such lovely children. They all love the slush that we live in. And all this municipality releases every week fresh supply. And we are so happy here. And one day it so happened that Indra, there was no rain in, everybody did some yajna for Indra to get pleased. So Indra came to bless. I will send some rain. And then he saw, what is this? I think this is Narada. He saw it through Sukshma Drishti. Oh, this is Narada. What is he doing over here? He's absconding from the heavens for so long. And so he went down to the Narada and said, hey Narada, what are you doing here in this? He said, what do you mean by doing? This is my home, this is my family. Meet my wife, meet my children. Indra said, what are you talking? Are you gone mad? You are Narada, Brahmarishi. What are you doing in this sewage? He says, no, I am this pig. And this is where we are, always. This is how we are. Then he told Indra, would you like to have something? Indra said, no. Thank you for your hospitality. I must go back to heaven. And Indra thought very badly felt. What has happened to this Narada? He's fallen into such lowly things. So he told Narada, the pig, why don't you come to heaven? I will take you to heaven. I'll remind you of who you are. You think you are a pig, but you are not a pig. You are a Brahmarishi. I will remind you, come to heaven with me. He said, I don't want to come to heaven. I'm very happy. This is heaven for me. What greater heaven can be there? Nayam asti iti. This is the best. He said, no, there is a better heaven. You are much more peaceful. There is no pain, no suffering, no fear, old age, nothing. Come there with me. And he asked his wife, who is this strange man? He's going on asking me. But Atiti Devo Bhava, he's asked me, so let me go. So wife says, you figure it out, but don't lose your diet. Find out whether the diet is available in heaven or not. I don't want you to look skinny and ugly. You should continue to remain round and beautiful. So he said, all right, I will go to wherever he's saying, I'll check out and come. If it is good, I will take you all there. We'll have a bigger place. So he thought it's something like bigger sewage heaven. Because pig can only think in relative terms. So they went to heaven, ascended. And our Indra said, here, this is Menaka, this is Rambha, this is Urvashi. They are the most beautiful damsels of the heaven. They will dance for you now. The pig said, okay. So they started dancing and singing. All the other gods were enjoying their celestial music. This pig is restless and his chair is moving. Then Indra thought maybe he's not getting reminded of who he is by these dances. Let us chant Veda chanting over here. So that Maharshi, he will remember something out of it. So everybody, all the rishis, Sapta rishis came and started chanting Vedas there. Pig became even more restless. When is it going to end? Then Indra said, this is also not working. Let us get him the best of the foods of the heaven, the Soma Rasa and everything else. And they served everything to him. He saw everything and rejected everything. He said, what I want is not here. Therefore, I don't like this heaven. I want to go back, he says. Indra breaks his head and said, what can we do about this fellow? That is our story. Become a good human being, realize your divinity, don't be troubled by your mind and senses, learn how to control and use them well, develop devotion, dedication in life, work for the betterment of the society, and ultimately realize your true divine self. I don't want it. This is the plight of Kali Yuga. This is the plight of the modern day world. But those dhiraha with a sukshma buddhi who are able to discriminate between shreyo and preyo, they will take to the right path. They will choose the shreya over preyo, and that is how they will be able to control their senses, the mind, use the buddhi, sattva buddhi, and they will be able to reach their destination, which is from Jivatma to Paramatma. So this is the main idea of Kathopanishad. This is the main idea of all Upanishads, to teach you how to rise above this silliness, pettiness of your existence. You're not just a body filled with senses, all the time moving garbage truck these bodies are. Whatever you eat in the breakfast, it's all there in you right now. You're moving toilets, that's what it is. The body's truth is only that much. Peel the skin and what you are. That's all the truth of bodies. That is not you. For those senses, should you go this way, that way? When there is an Atman inside which needs to be pleased, that is where your true happiness lies. Believe in these truths, Work towards that. That's more important. Those who don't understand, forget about them. Forget about them, because they don't understand, they don't have the buddhi, the sattva buddhi which is required for this kind. They have a shudra buddhi, tamasa buddhi, rajasa buddhi. Such buddhis cannot help you. And they cannot understand this, just as we cannot understand why they are doing that. But for them, they are Swayam Dhira Panditam Manyamana. They have understood, they think this is life. So that is where your discrimination, the Viveka Buddhi has to come. That is where Vyavasayika Buddhi has to come. That is where Sattva Buddhi has to come. If you don't use that Buddhi well, you lose control over your mind, you lose control over your senses. In fact, you will lose control over your entire life. And because of one life going wrong, it will set out a chain reaction. One after the other, lives after lives will go wrong. Once you correct it, lives after lives will be corrected. Why more lives at all? You are the supreme consciousness, you are no more birth and death. You are the knowledge supreme, that divinity. So where is the question of birth, death, karma, karma phala? None of these applies to you after that. Because you have gone beyond. When the Queen of London comes out on the road, do you think traffic rules apply on the Queen? Do you think she is not supposed to, she is to stop at every signal? Or a chief minister comes out? You think all these rules apply? The roads are cleared for him, all the traffic is stopped. And he can go at whatever speed and no speed limits for him. Why? Because he is the chief minister. Likewise, when you gain control over your senses, mind and attain divinity, these karma, karma phala, janma, loka, all these rules don't apply on you anymore. You're free. That is why it is said. In Narada Bhakti Sutra it says, Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Your presence makes the place holier. Holy places become holier by your presence. Sat shastri kurvanti shastrani. The holy scriptures find their true fulfillment in your life. Your conduct, your practice gives meaning and fulfillment to the scriptures, because you are the living scripture. Moving, talking, walking, breathing scripture you become. That is the power of a Brahmagyani. That is the power of the knower of God. All that you do becomes punya. No papa happens to you. Sukarmi kurvanti karmani. All the actions that you undertake, however silly, going to the office and signing some register, or doing the days to work as a teacher or administrator, even as a sweeper, with Brahmagyana in you, each of those acts become holy. There is no big, small, less, more, good, bad, papa, punya left for you. Everything that you do is sukarmi only, because you are operating from the Brahma level, not from the body Brahma level. There is no ego, no attachment, no silly pettiness, no mine and thine, this and that. Everything is Brahman for you. Therefore, there is no such kind of dualities. So anything that you do becomes holy. That becomes yajna for you. That becomes homa for you. You don't have to separately do anything, because you have attained that. And what happens? Nityante devata. Devatas are those forces which maintain the society, maintain the creation. They become happy. For once there are some people who are leading a noble life, pure life, they feel fulfilled. They dance in joy that there are more good people. All our efforts are not getting wasted. The wind that blows, the river that flows, the sun that rises, everybody is joyful now. That our efforts are not getting wasted. These human beings have finally learned how to become divine, how to lead a pure life. Therefore they enjoy. Devatas. And sanatha cha bhubhavati. And the earth feels protected. Earth feels that it has got a parent now, a protector, a caretaker. It's not going to be ruined. The society feels like that it will not be ruined. Here are some people of God. They will teach the world how to lead a good life. They will save the world from all wrong ways. They will remove the illusions and delusions from the minds of the youngsters around the world and put them on the noble path so that they are happy, and because of them, all others around them are happy. Imagine a child gets spoilt in a family. Everybody suffers. Mother suffers, father suffers, the immediate social circle suffers, and the child commits crime in the society suffers. Everybody suffers if one person goes wrong. And same person, if it goes right, everybody benefits. So this is your opportunity to learn this, practice it first, realize it, and through that set an example for all others to lead a noble life, pure life, and thereby first person to benefit out of it is you. And then the next person is whoever realizes it. After that, society benefits. So learn that this is so important. Why I took so much time to describe just this part of the Kathopanishad? Because it is very practical. You will say, Brahman, does he exist inside, outside? There can be confusion. But this is so practical. Understand the analogy of the horses and the senses, mind as the rein, for buddhi as the driver, charioteer, and you are true self, the Atman as the passenger. So Atman has to be pleased. Why is the horses yoked to the chariot? Why is there a rein? Why is there a charioteer? All this is to help the passenger travel. And passenger should be comfortable. Passenger should be happy. For that sake only all this paraphernalia of the body, senses, mind and everything. If that God within is not happy with the way of your conduct in the society, the way you use your body, mind and senses and buddhi, then what is the use? Tata kim, tata kim. What is the use? What is the use of such a life? What is the use of being a human being? This is the message of this Kathopanishad. That even in our daily life and conduct, use all these things that have given by God for what? For the Atman to reach Paramatman. The journey through this chariot of the body and the horses as the senses and mind as the rein and buddhi as the charioteer is all for the sake of that Atman within you which has to meet the Paramatman. There is no other reason for you to get this body, mind, senses. The only reason is that. It was not for the horses to eat grass and drink water and make merry. No. The only reason senses were given so that you use them to reach God and nothing else. Let that be thoroughly established in your mind, so much so that even in dream you should not forget. Even in sleep you should not forget this is the goal and purpose of why this body and the senses have been given, not to enjoy pleasures and make merry, which is what the world thinks. It is only to realize God, to take this chariot of the body forward on the path of self-realization and reach the ultimate destination, which is you realizing that you are none other than God. Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. That Jiva only is Brahma. I only am that Brahman. This realization is the ultimate result of this journey, the ultimate final destination, the station. So keep this thought in mind. Why this body has been given, why this mind has been given. Is it to educate ourselves and crack exams and become rich and famous? Or there is something more to this purpose of body, mind and buddhi?